18 games in one day at the same time, featuring most, if not all, of the biggest clubs in Europe. I don't think it's a stretch to say this is the biggest day in European competition history that didn't end in somebody getting a trophy. It's that big of a deal, and if you don't like the new format at this point, you just hate change or hate fun, maybe. It has been a resounding success, with today the culmination of the new league phase, and I think it's safe to say this has eliminated the need for a Super League as much as there ever was one. Will it end the discussion? Probably not, but I think the new Champions League format may have killed the Super League. We're going to talk about if that's true next here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. Now, when I say kill the Super League, I mean it actually happening, not the discussions. The discussions are still going to happen because money is still money, and there are still clubs and people, powerful, influential people out there who want it to happen. But the way this has played out with the format, the way it is, culminating in this awesome day of football, and then the actual knockout stage of the tournament, I just don't see what a Super League, even if it came to fruition, would bring to the table that the current Champions League format, this new format, has not delivered on, which I think has been a resounding success. There are people out there who still don't like it. I've been for this new format from day one. I've made a bunch of videos about it. It wasn't complicated, even though people said it was. It was fair, even though people said it wasn't. It's great. It's been great. And I don't understand the arguments against it. If you have arguments against it, I would love to hear them because I don't understand what they are. I've heard some, but they're not great arguments against it. The only ones I've heard that have a little bit of validity are the fact that it added more games, which it did, and the fixture schedule was already so crowded that it didn't need 2 more games. But there are ways to eliminate other games while keeping this format. So while I'll grant you that argument, I think there are ways around it. The other are for fans that are going in person and feel obligated or are actually obligated to buy more home tickets, spend more money to see their teams or travel to more games. That I'm sympathetic with. I also think there are workarounds there at the club level to loosen those requirements of fans, the financial burden of fans who want to go to games. Obviously, that's not me. I'm not in that boat. I'm here in America. It would cost me $5,000 just to get to one game and stay there and fly and get tickets and all that nonsense. But I understand that argument. That one makes sense. But again, there are ways around it without changing the format and going back to the group stage. So I sympathize with those arguments, and those are valid arguments, but I don't think fixing them requires us to make any changes to this awesome new format, which has played out beautifully. So if you still don't like the new Champions League format, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section as we get rolling here. And I want to know also, do you think this is enough to just absolutely kill the Super League arguments? That's what we're going to talk about today, but before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel as we make more of these videos and keep talking about these topics. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what you do or don't like about this format and why. I would love to hear some valid and really good arguments as to why this hasn't worked. And do you think it's going to kill the Super League? Get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts there. You can also leave some comments on Blue Sky at Pitchside Pub and check out the website pitchsidepub.com. So this format has been amazing. Think back to the old group stages. The final day of group stage play was really a dud, more often than not. Maybe your club needed a win, maybe it needed a point. If that's the case, it's probably just because they've fallen on their face early on, or maybe you root for a smaller club that doesn't get into the tournament all that often. But more often than not, the final day was sort of a dud. A lot of the groups had already been decided. Certainly the group winners had been decided. If you are a supporter of a bigger club, you'd probably already wrapped it up. I know as a Manchester City supporter, we got paired with Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk almost every year and whooped up on that. By the time you got to games 5 and 6, it was basically academy training. The group stage just wasn't all that exciting because you sort of knew what was going to happen. You went in there, you kicked some butt, you moved on. This is not that case, and you can use Manchester City as an example. We're playing for something today. It matters. It matters a lot. And while I would much rather have the low-key day of having had it wrapped up as a supporter, as a fan of the game, this is exciting. 18 games at once. European fans may not be as used to this. In America, we have NFL every Sunday. We have football, and there are usually 8 to 10 games going on at once. And we have a special channel called the Red Zone Channel where they go from game to game and tell us what's happening. It's exciting. Every Sunday is exciting. It's why the sport is so popular. We're getting a taste of that here in European competition, and this is just magnificent. Even if my club loses, which I'll be devastated about, it's still exciting. There is drama here. They have created drama organically. They haven't had to make it up. And that's what the Super League, that's where the Super League has failed. The fundamental problem with the Super League was the lack of openness, right? It was you can buy your way into a league that you'll never get kicked out of, which goes against every fundamental being and fiber of what European football is all about. Well, this doesn't do that. The Champions League is open to everybody. Look at some of the best teams in this competition this year. Brest, they were amateur level 30 years ago. They had dropped down so far. Now they've made it up to the Champions League and are going to advance. That's an incredible achievement by a club that has come so far. That's the European dream that the Super League was taking a dump on, which is why it was so resoundly shot down. Now, it's not going to go away in terms of you'll never hear about it again, right? It's not like they're going to go, oh man, UEFA beat us. Their new format's really good and everybody loves it, so I guess we should just give up. No, absolutely not. There are powerful people with a lot of money on the line here. Javier Tebas wants it. So the big Spanish clubs want it. It's got backing. The fans need to continue to shoot it down at every turn. But where the Champions League format comes in now is with the way it has played out. And again, I see it as a resounding success so far. What is the need for a Super League? What is the Super League bringing me that I'm not already getting? The draw of it, the proposed draw was, well, you get these awesome matchups more often. You're going to get PSG versus Man City more often. You're going to get Barcelona versus Liverpool. You're going to get them multiple times a year. Now, I personally, my first thought was, okay, then we're going to get tired of it because it happens too often, right? So, in and of itself, that was fundamentally flawed. But also, people didn't like it because they bought their way into it. So there wasn't that excitement of, oh, we get to move up, right? Had they added another, a topper to the pyramid and made a European pyramid where the winner or the top 2 or 3 of the English, of the Premier League go up to the Super League, and then the bottom ones go back down, and same thing in Germany, same thing. Okay, I think people still would have had a problem with not playing in their own domestic league, but they might have gotten over it for the fact that they got promoted. They earned their way up to this Super League. And think back to, when clubs in England like Brighton and Aston Villa this year and Newcastle a few years ago earned their way into European competition for the first time in years, or in some cases in their lifetime. And the excitement that they got from playing in those games, playing those midweek games, traveling to other places in Europe, hosting big clubs. That was exciting for them. There would be some of that if the Super League had added on top of the already existing pyramids in every country. But that's not what it did. It just said, hey, if you have money, you can join this league, and you'll always make money from it because you're never going to get kicked out. Well, that's what people hated. That's what the Champions League format solves. We've got that sort of league format. It's only 8 games. But it works, and you're getting these matchups, but we'll get different matchups every year. Man City played PSG. Next year, they might play Bayern. The year after that, they might play Barcelona in a group stage. It's not going to be so repetitive that we get tired of it, but we're still going to get these awesome matchups. Now, I have made an argument that this is not a Super League. That was the lazy man's argument was, oh, they just replicated the Super League and made their own Super League. No, they didn't, because it's open. That's the fundamental difference. It also isn't just the same games over and over every year. It's going to be, you only play 8 of the 36 teams. So there's a lot of variation from year to year. So this will be exciting every single year. And as we've seen, some big clubs are struggling. Man City may not make it. The world will rejoice. I'll be sad, but the world will rejoice, and that's fine. That means it worked. That means the system worked. It's not automatic that these big clubs move on. It is open. It is there for everybody. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So to me, this has worked so incredibly well. And my first thought today, as I was thinking about this, was, what would we even need a Super League for? Forget the moral implications and the breaking of tradition and creating a closed system and blah, blah. If you create a good enough competition, people will watch. Club World Cup, I'm talking to you. Your competition sucks and nobody can tell who's going to be in it or how they got there. Because if you don't have Lionel Messi, you have to earn your way in, but Inter Miami just gets in because they're in Miami. The whole thing's a sham. So nobody cares. That's why they can't get a TV contract. That's why nobody's looking forward to it. That's why nobody wants to watch it. But if you create a good enough product, people will watch. What could the Super League possibly create at this point that the Champions League has not provided us? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think there is an answer. I don't think it's anything. That's my sort of key point here is this has delivered so well with this new format that I just don't even see what a Super League would bring us at this point. Even if you could look past the obvious money grab and the breaking from tradition and the closed system, even if you were okay with all those things, what's it bringing to the table? What's it giving me as a fan that I'm not already getting? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because this competition has delivered, absolutely knocked it out of the park. And this is going to be an awesome day for fans, for players, for people trying to make money. Everybody's winning here. So I think this format's been great. If you still don't like it, I would like to hear. I genuinely want to hear. I'll probably push back if your argument isn't great, but I want to hear it. I want to hear what it is because I don't understand. I don't understand these people that are still hesitant on if this has been good and if it's worked and if it's a positive, if it's going to continue. I think this is so much better than the old group stage format. This Swiss model is absolutely killing it, and I think it's a red letter day for European football. I would love to get your thoughts. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you love it? Did you not like it at first and had to come around? And if so, what made you change your mind? Or do you still hate it? Or genuinely, I want to know. Get down in that comment section. Let me know your thoughts also about how it affects the Super League and if you think that will go away and finally not come to fruition. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave some comments on Blue Sky at Pitchside Pub. While you're at it, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button for me so you can follow the channel. And of course, check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub.